Hello. I got a haircut. I hope that that's okay with you guys, that I didn't ask first. Today I'm gonna be reading horror stories from Reddit because I've been watching this guy called Cameron Chase, and I think that he's funny, and he does Reddit videos, so now I want to do more Reddit videos. Well, I literally just went to watch one of his videos, and I saw that literally the first story that I read was the first story that he read in that video. I'm so disappointed. I'm not unique anymore. This one is by Mommy Says I'm Pretty, 11 years ago, so it's an old one. It's on r/ask Reddit. So here's how it starts off. I'm gonna place my phone right there so I can still look at the camera. True story time. I was about 4 or 5 years old and my parents had just separated. My mom was living in a 2-bedroom apartment. I had my own room, but I preferred to sleep in her bed whenever I was staying with her. Okay, I totally missed the part where they said that their parents were separated, so I was confused. Our 2 bedrooms were at the end of a hallway directly across from each other. Our apartment was on the first floor, and I remembered that it was in the middle of the summer and my mom had a window open her room, which was directly behind the bed above the headboard. Anyways, I woke up in the middle of the night and remember sitting up and seeing that our cat was sitting on the doorframe in my mom's room. Her door was open. You could partially see into my bedroom. This was strange because our cat was typically always in bed with us. As I was watching him, he walked into my bedroom and meowed. I swear to God, if this is a Skinwalker story, I'll cry. I turned to face my mom and wake her up. In the 3/4 seconds it took her to wake up and ask me what was wrong, we both looked back up in the doorframe, and there was a man standing by my open door making his way out of my bedroom. I still don't know how she managed to do it so quickly, but my mother proceeded to pick me up and literally throw me out of the screen window. Again, we were on the first floor, and it was maybe a 3-foot drop to the ground. She quickly followed, and we were able to start screaming for help, and someone called 911. The police came, but didn't see any signs of forced entry, only that our front door was unlocked, which led them to believe that the man must have exited that way. The strange thing was that my mom swore up and down that she had locked the door that night with the deadbolt and chain lock. About a week later, she was cleaning the kitchen, opened up our water heater closet, and found a notebook with names and drawings, as well as a pair of gloves and some gum wrappers. The police were called again, but all they could do was speculate that the man had been in our house and hid until we were asleep. Edit, just to clarify, our apartment was on the ground level, so my mother didn't hurl me into potential paralysis, just a 3-ish-foot drop to the grass. Literally one of my worst ever fears is finding out that there's a guy living in my house secretly. Like, that's like a horror movie thing. I think it's called frogging, but like with a PH. Because I watched a video about it earlier today. I think that would be so scary, and I think that I would never actually step foot inside again, because I may have told this story, but when I was, I don't know, like 14 or 13 or 12 or something, I was in my room. It was 3 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I turned on Futurama on the TV, and I was gonna watch it to lull myself to sleep, I guess. And where was I? Oh yeah, the light turned itself on, and the apartment that we lived in was just a scary place, so I was afraid all the time. Like, you felt that you were being watched all the time type thing. Things would make noises in the night and fall without explanation. And I would not go into my room for a couple weeks. And then when I went downstairs, the light flickered down there, and I was like completely concealed beneath my blanket, just terrified the whole night. Anyway, this one is by a deleted account on the same subreddit. A terrifying but true story I experienced when I was 12. This is 11 years ago too. I moved to my dad's when I was 10, and I didn't know anyone in the area except for the family my dad was friends with. Single mom with 3 kids. Luckily, there was a girl a couple years older than me, 12 at the time I met her, and we got to know each other a little over a couple years. We weren't close, but ended up having the same friends. One night, my friend Rob was hanging out with her and her younger brother. They happened to be in the house alone because my friend's mom was at work, which is where this gets terrifying and sad. Her mother has been helping this one lady through her work, and got to know her fairly well. She found out that her sister was in a mental institution and she was let out recently. My hair looks so bad. The night Rob is hanging out with my friend, they get a knock on the door. My friend thought it was just their mom. She knocks a certain way when coming in and answered it without thinking. Rob wasn't supposed to be there, and he took off through the window to his house down the road. He never thought twice about it. Wasn't her mom. It was the sister of the lady her mom was helping, and she figured out through talking to her sister where her family lived and her mom's working schedule. I hope that she's back in that institution. She came in, and this is where I don't know details, and I'm glad I don't. My friend's younger brother got away. I just saw the word decapitated. My friend's younger brother got away to the neighbors to call the police. The lady brutally murdered my friend a week from Christmas, decapitated her, and left her body naked in a bathtub. Dexter hit her head. They had to look through the presents, and I don't know where they found it, but they did. I wasn't allowed to go to her funeral. Bruh. Listen. Not every story that you read is true. I don't know if this one's true because, like, people can be that crazy or even crazier sometimes. But I was gonna say I don't think anybody in their right mind would do that, but obviously this lady wasn't in her right mind. That's vile and disgusting and scary. I can't believe that the world is in a state where you can read a story like this and know that there's a chance that it's real. Honestly. Ooh, this is a long one. Posted by Hobbsit. Oh my god, this one is long. Just to be clear, I'm not reading it ahead of time. I'm just going through and getting screenshots so I can display it on screen. Oh my god, it's still going. Okay. Now, give me a second to scroll back to the top. This one starts with, alrighty. This is the late 80s / early 90s. I was around 6 to 7 years old. I am at home with my sister, who was 14 to 15 at the time. We grew up in a small Texas town. Everyone knows everybody. We were home alone this particular night, and my folks let my sister babysit me frequently. We always got along due to our age gap. Anyway, it is about 8 p.m. in the winter. Deserts get pretty D-word cold. So it is dark, and we are in the common room, since that is where the TV was, watching 60 Minutes or 48 Hours or Hard Copy or some S-word. Those 1-hour news pieces on CBS that chronicle large crimes in depth. Trafficking. Oh my god, my hair looks so bad. Murders, kidnappings, and the like. Basically a gritty Lifetime special. This one was a typical story. Guy next door that was quiet went on a rampage in his next door neighbor's house, mutilating them and kidnapping their young daughter. Oh yeah, classic. Well, the thing about our house common room is that the door leading to the backyard was a large glass door on a wall of floor-to-ceiling windows. Nothing but blackness beyond it unless you have the back light on, and we did not. The front door is on the other side of the room with a small entryway. This is a solid door, so you cannot see what is beyond it with the glass storm door on the outside of it. About 45 minutes into the show, they're talking about the ongoing manhunt for this crazy guy, and bam, bam, bam! Front door bangs like crazy. We jump the F word up and scream like banshees. Dead silence now. The only lights on in the house are in the kitchen down the hall from the common room we were in, and the light from the TV. We start thinking something on the porch, we had some planters and a rocking chair out there, had simply blown against the door. This was West Texas, crazy strong winds out that way, while a minute or two of silence and us holding each other post-adrenaline overdose passes. Just when we were about to declare everything is safe, we hear the storm on the outside of our front door close. F word. Someone had to have opened that door to be able to bang on the front door like that. We are both frozen in the middle of the room on the floor where we had been watching TV. My sister crawls over to the TV and turns it off. It was an old TV, so you had to turn that metal dial to switch it off, which it does with a mildly loud thunk. Now it's just us in a room dimly lit by the kitchen light down the hall. I don't remember how much time passed with my frozen and my sister still crouched by the now off TV, but we kept making eye contact, then looking at the front door. I remember this part vividly. I'm on my knees, sitting on my feet, and I turn around to look at the back wall, the windows, and the glass door. We hear and I see the back doorknob turn. It was locked on the knob, but not deadbolted. It rattles slightly as if someone is gently trying the handle. Neither of us make a sound, just held breath. Then, bam, 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 loud as H word. Someone is trying to force the door open, just jerking it back and forth. The whole wall of windows is vibrating violently, and I can see with each jerk of the door how my slight reflection gets fuzzy, then clear, then fuzzy. My sister flips her S-word and screams bloody murder. I'm still frozen on the floor. She gets up and basically drags me into her bedroom, slams the door, throws her mattress and anything she can in front of her door. Thankfully, she had remembered the phone and one of those ungodly heavy beige plastic long metal antenna portable phones. We still had to direct dial the sheriff there, and in her panic didn't remember the number. She just hit redial on the phone. It was one of her friends, and she tells him in the broken gasps that someone is trying to get into our house, and she needs to get there right now. The profanity sticks out here more than anything else. Who knows? Young brain. I'm curled up on the floor and cannot stop shaking. We don't hear anything else until we see the headlights of my sister's friend and her parents driving up to the house. We never did find out who was at the door or why. There were no signs of anything happening, but a couple scuff marks on the bottom of the back door that we could not remember if they were there beforehand or not. Nothing like that has happened to me or her since, but for D-word sure, we never forgot to lock the door after that. That one wasn't scary. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, I say it's not that scary. It's like not that scary to read out loud, but if that happened to me, I would die. I would literally have a heart attack and die right there because, dude, like, one year I heard fireworks outside of my house because I forgot it was the 4th of July, and it scared me so badly because it sounded like somebody was banging on the door. Like, probably, like, crying scared. I was terrified. That sounds stupid in hindsight, but you're not allowed to make fun of me, so. So, I think that I would die. Okay, now this one is what, AETT 11 years ago. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. About 5 years ago, my mom started dating a guy she met on a dating site. That part is fine. I had recently started dating the woman who would later become my wife, and we had met online. I'll just refer to her as my wife for this story. Anyway, my wife and I never really liked this guy. We didn't think he was mean or anything like that, just a little creepy. He was quiet, he kept his eyes closed a lot, and occasionally said odd things like offering my wife a chocolate and then popping one in his mouth, closing his eyes and moaning as he let it melt in his mouth. That's just mean. One time my wife and I were visiting my mom, but she got called into work, so we waited at her house. Her boyfriend was over, but he spent the entire several hours just hanging out in her bedroom with the door closed. Just before Christmas, my mom and this guy started having some difficulties. My wife and I were visiting her for the holidays, and she dropped all of her problems on us, and we listened carefully and told her our opinions and suggested that she would be better off without him. She already had her mind made up, though, and decided to break up with him on Christmas Eve. Let me try to predict it. He goes on a horrific rampage because he is heartbroken. We spent the night at my mom's and got up early on Christmas morning to visit my dad at his house. We didn't plan to spend the night at my dad's, but we got snowed in, which was actually a nice Christmas surprise. The next day, we left as soon as we could through the snow, and my wife suggested that we stop by my mom's house on the way so that we could see if she was okay. My wife just had a really bad feeling about my mom's now ex-boyfriend. Oh my god, are they going to go back and see her dead? My mom's car was in the driveway, but that doesn't mean much because she lives close enough to work that she often walks and it hadn't snowed in her town. She also never locks her door, which drives me crazy, so we get ourselves in. I just saw the next sentence. This is not cool. That's when we see blood oozing out of the refrigerator's water dispenser. It had filled up the spill container and was leaking onto the floor and had made a puddle. My wife screamed and I freaked out. I fully expected to see my mom's head in the freezer. I nervously opened the freezer to find a bag of frozen cherries that had been opened, crammed into the freezer so that it fell into the ice dispenser and melted. TLDR, whatever that means. Thought my mom was decapitated by her creepy ex-boyfriend. I'm so glad that nobody died. I'm so glad that nobody died, but that was kind of a letdown. I think I'm going to end it right here. It's kind of short, but I don't want to edit a 20-minute long video, so I'll settle for a 17-minute long video. It's actually at 16 minutes and 50 seconds right now. You guys should like and subscribe so that I do more of these videos. And also, yes, I'm wearing pajama pants. My cousin did my nails. You should look at them right now. Okay. I like them. I mean, she did them on her own. They're really good. Okay. Did I already say subscribe? Because I don't know. I don't even think that I have to say it twice. Because I think that when you heard it the first time, you already went and subscribed. Because, yeah, I don't know. Okay, goodbye.